Hi, everybody. It's Miss Toth here. So we are going to be reading Love That Dog by Sharon Creech. And there it is. Love That Dog. And we are still listening to Jack as he communicates one way with his teacher through his journal. And I do hope that you are paying attention to how Jack transforms, how he changes from being somebody who doesn't feel like he's a writer to starting to develop his confidence as a poet. Okay, so I hope that some of you are able to make those concrete or shape poems like the one that Jack made the last time we did our reading about his yellow dog. So we're going to read his month of March and his month of April. And I will, of course, scan the pages for you so you can read along with me if you like. All right, here we go. March 1st. Yes, you can type up the yellow dog poem that looks like a dog, but this time keep the spaces exactly the same, and maybe it would look really, really good on yellow paper. Maybe you could put my name on it, but only if you want to. Only if you think it looks good enough. Remember, he wanted to be anonymous before? Now he's changing his mind. March 7th. I was a little bit embarrassed when people said things to me like, neat poem, Jack, and how'd you think of that, Jack? And I really, really like the one you put up about the tree that is shaped like a tree. Not a fake looking tree, but like a real tree with straggly branches. But I want to know who is the anonymous poet in our class who wrote that, and why didn't he or she want to put his or her name on it? Was it like me when I didn't think my words were poems? Maybe you will tell the anonymous tree poet that his or her tree poem is really a poem, really, really, and a good poem too. March 14th. That was the best poem you read yesterday by Mr. Walter Dean Myers. The best poem ever. I am sorry I took the book home without asking. I only got one spot in it. That's why the page is torn. I tried to get the spot out. I copied that best poem and hung it on my bedroom wall right over my bed where I can see it when I'm lying down. Maybe you could copy it too and hang it on the wall in our class when we can see it when we are sitting at our desk doing our stuff. I sure liked that poem by Mr. Walter Dean Myers called Love That Boy because of two reasons I liked it. One, because my dad calls me in the morning just like that. He calls, "Hey there, son." And also because when I had my yellow dog, I loved that dog, and I would call him like this. I'd say, "Hey there, Sky." His name was Sky. So this is a poem that he's talking about. It's just the beginning of the poem, and you can find it in its entirety online if you Google Love That Boy by Walter Dean Myers, who is a real poet. It says, love that boy like a rabbit loves to run. I said, I love that boy like a rabbit loves to run. Love to call him in the morning, love to call him, hey there, son. March 22nd. My yellow dog followed me everywhere. Every which way I turned, he was there wagging his tail and slobber coming out of his mouth when he was smiling at me all the time as if he was saying, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you for choosing me. And jumping up on me, his shaggy, scraggly paws on my chest like he was trying to hug the insides right out of me. And when us kids were playing outside, kicking the ball, he'd chase after it and push it with his nose, push, 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 and getting slobber all over the ball, but no one cared because he was such a funny dog, that dog Sky, that straggly, furry, smiling dog Sky. And I'd call him every morning, every evening, hey there, Sky. March 27th. Yes, you can type up what I wrote about my dog Sky, but don't type up that other secret one I wrote, the one all folded up in the envelope with tape on it. That one uses too many Mr. Walter Dean Myers words, and maybe Mr. Walter Dean Myers would get mad about that. April 4th. I was very glad to hear that Mr. Walter Dean Myers is not the sort of person who would get mad at a boy for using some of his words. And thank you for typing up my secret poem, the one that uses so many of Mr. Walter Dean Myers' words. And I like what you put on top, inspired by Mr. Walter Dean Myers. That sounds good to my ears. Now no one will think I just copied because I couldn't think of my own words. They will know I was inspired by Mr. Walter Dean Myers. But don't put it on the board yet, okay? Is Mr. Walter Dean Myers a live person? And if he is, do you think he could ever come to our city, to our school, to our class? And if he did, we should hide my poem with his words. Hide it real good just in case he would get mad about that. April 9th. No, 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 no. I can't do it. You should do it. You're a teacher. April 12th. I don't agree that Mr. Walter Dean Myers might like to hear from a boy who likes his poems. I think Mr. Walter Dean Myers would like to hear from a teacher who uses big words and knows how to spell and to type. April 17th. Dear Mr. Walter Dean Myers, you probably don't want to hear from me because I'm only a boy and not a teacher and I don't use big words, and you probably won't read this, or even if you do read it, you probably are way too busy to answer it, let alone do the thing I'm going to ask you. And I want you to know that it's okay, because our teacher says writers are very, 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 very busy trying to write their words. And the phone is ringing and the fax is going and the bills need paying and sometimes they get sick. I hope you're not sick, Mr. Walter Dean Myers. Or their family gets sick, or their electricity goes off, or the car needs fixing, or they have to go to the grocery store, or do the laundry, or clean up messes. I don't know how you find the time to write your words if you have to do all that stuff, and maybe you should get a helper. So what I'm asking you is this: if you ever get time to leave your house, and if ever you feel like visiting a school where there might be some kids who like your poems, would you ever maybe think about maybe coming maybe to our school, which is a clean place with mostly nice people in it? And I think our teacher, Miss Stretchbury, would maybe even make brownies for you because she sometimes makes them for us. I hope I haven't too much stopped you from doing your writing of words and fixing your car and getting groceries and all that stuff just to read this letter, which probably is taking you maybe 15 minutes. And in that time, you could have maybe written a whole new poem, or at least the start of one. And so I am sorry for taking up your time, and I understand if you can't come to our clean school to read some of your poems to us and let us see your face, which I bet is a friendly face. My name is Jack. Bye, Mr. Walter Dean Myers. April 20th. Did you mail it? Did he answer yet? April 24th. Months? It might take months for Mr. Walter Dean Myers to answer my letters if he answers it? I didn't know until you explained that the letter has to go to Mr. Walter Dean Myers' publisher company, and that someone at the publisher company has to sort all that mail, not just my letter, but hundreds and hundreds of letters to hundreds of authors. All that big mess of mail piled up and someone sorting all that mail, and then the letters from Mr. Walter Dean Myers to go to him. And maybe he's away. Maybe he's on vacation. Maybe he's sick. Maybe he's hiding in a room writing poems. Maybe he's babysitting his children or his grandchildren, if he's married and stuff. Or maybe he has to go to the dentist or get the car fixed. Maybe someone died. I really, really hope someone did not die. So if you ask me, it could take him years to get around to answering that letter. So I guess we better just forget about it. Not count on it. Get it out of our minds. Do something else. Forget it. April 26th. Sometimes when you're trying not to think about something, it keeps popping back into your head. You can't help it. You think about it and think about it and think about it until your brain feels like a squashed pea. And that's the end of April. So we're going to leave May for next time. Thanks for listening.